reporting from the inaugural SecureWorld Cincinnati event, and I'm standing here with Kim Jones, the CISO with Vantiv, and he's going to answer a few questions today about cybersecurity. So Kim, I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to become a cybersecurity professional?
Well, I was an intelligence officer for 11 years in the military, and when I got out, I was looking for something that I could still find a way to look out for people and make a difference. My wife was against me becoming a cop, and I hate the sight of blood, so I wasn't going to become a doctor, and I was a technologist by training, so the idea of taking my technical expertise, combining it with an understanding of how the threat thinks, and going into this burgeoning career path of cybersecurity seemed to be a good fit for me.
Sounds great. With the increasing challenges that the industry faces each day, what inspires you to stay within the industry?
I tell you that I go to work every day, particularly in the sector that I'm in. I go to work to try and protect customers and consumers. When people ask me why I go to work, I tell them it's the single mom shopping retail. She's doing what she can, she's making ends meet, she goes to swipe her credit card and her card's declined either because someone's hacked my system and stolen her data or someone's hacked my system and shut it down. I go to work every day to stop that sort of thing from happening, so that's why I get up in the morning.
So we often hear that there is a communication gap between the C-suite and the cybersecurity team. What do you feel can be done to close that gap?
It's funny, actually, I wrote a recent blog post that's on your site regarding that. I mean, clearly, as people who come up technologists, we don't necessarily communicate well. We don't necessarily speak, and you hear the buzz phrase, the language of the business. I think the profession is working really hard to try and figure out how to close that gap, how to speak in terms of risk, and how to engage the business where it meets. The counterpoint to that is that's about 85% of the problem. The other 15% of the problem is as the business becomes more and more concerned about what I do for a living, the business has to meet me at least 15% of the way and understand that there are some things and some hard truths and some bad nasties that I look at every day that they may not like to hear about, they may want to distance themselves about, but if you're going to come to party, you're going to have to understand that that's part and parcel of the gig. So I think we need to continue to work on getting out of the techno sandbox and truly speaking the language, and we're doing that. But we also need to make sure that our business brethren understand that they're going to have to come at least two steps my way in order for us to bridge and have truly that two-way communication.
So what is the most important steps an organization can take to create a cybersecurity culture?
I think, from my perspective, it's truly understanding that just like there are things that you do within your environment that don't necessarily lead to just generating revenue, but they're part and parcel of the structure that you have to deal with, you have to realize that security is everyone's business, hands down, within the organization. And bluntly, you set that tone at the top. Just hiring somebody who has my experience and my background or teams of people to do that isn't enough. That's creating a CSO as the chief scapegoat officer. The truth of the matter is it's about the tone at the top. I'm here to enforce your policies, your structures, your controls. If you're just putting a figurehead in there to point when the regulators say, see, we've got one, that's not going to solve the problem. You have to set that tone, you have to communicate that tone, and you have to be willing to step out there and make sure that when we say security is everyone's business, that starts with you leading by example. It can be little things like making sure you're locking your computer screen, you're wearing your badge, to at least talking the talk as well as just walking the walk.
Well, lastly, in your opinion, how do you feel we can inspire more women to come into the cybersecurity industry?
I've just heard that the numbers for women are going down, which is disconcerting. We've got a talent gap collectively across the board. I've always felt that security among the technology spaces was actually a leader, to be honest with you, in terms of bringing women into the fold, bringing minorities into the fold, and truly being what I call a meritocracy across the board. I would tell you that in the organizations that I've run, I haven't had a problem attracting multi-ethnic and male and female talent within my organization. I think we're still well above what the average is out there. I think we continue to appeal to the challenge that's within security. We continue to appeal to the desire to make a difference. But I would submit to you that the problem that we have isn't just female talent, it's talent across the board. I will take a talented, dedicated individual wherever I can find them. But particularly within cybersecurity, I would tell you this is a meritocracy. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to succeed. And if you're not willing to work hard, you're not going to succeed. But if you're passionate, you work hard, you will succeed regardless of gender, regardless of race. We don't have time, given what we do, for those type of biases that you see in other fields and other verticals. So for me, I just think we just need to get that message out there.